Today we're going to look at some very basic things about the martial arts. And actually for the next few videos we're probably going to be looking at more of the rudiments of how we do things. The reason being is that everybody wants to learn really amazing stuff and fancy spinning throws and all these other things, but if you don't have the basics down, you're never going to get anywhere in your martial arts. If you look at the fact that we all have pencils and we all know how to use them, if you have someone with like a Leonardo da Vinci with a pencil, or someone who's an advanced physicist with a pencil, they can do something a whole lot more with that very basic thing as a pencil than you or I can for the most part. So what we want to do is we want to learn how to use our body through learning basic movements so that we can later get into more advanced things. One of my instructors once said that there are no such thing as advanced techniques, there's only advanced thinking, and you get there through the basics. So today what we're going to look at is the female triangle. It's from the martial art of Kali, and it's basically just a simple stepping pattern. It's footwork, but we'll look at it and it'll improve your martial arts once you get it. Okay, so the way the female triangle works is it's exactly like it says, except it's not really a triangle, it's more like a V. The top of the triangle would be at the top, but we're not going to talk about that part today. We're just going to talk about the V part of it. Basically, I'll put it down on the ground so you can see what I'm talking about. That's the female triangle right there. So if I'm standing here, the way that this is what we call the female triangle. And it's just the way we move. So what I do is I move from one side back to the other. And that's it. It's a basic footwork pattern. And you can do more things than this with it too, but this is the very basic way of doing it. So it's just one foot out, then the other foot out. Very simple. And that's the female triangle. Okay, so my son Kalis is here, and it makes it a little bit easier to understand what I'm doing. So when we're working with the female triangle, or any footwork for that matter, what we want to think about is what I call zoning. So what do I mean by zoning? Zoning means that the body has different areas that I can get in on or get away from. So using JKD principles for a second, if we have the center line principle, right, which is that everything running down here is what I want to hit or what I want to block from, there's also other similar areas. For instance, if I go on this side, I have another center line, not the same center line, but different, that has ears and floating ribs and knees. It's all along that line, okay? So there's lots of targets in the body, but I need to know how to get there. So with the female triangle, what I can do is just very simply use my body to zone either out of the way of him when he's attacking, or to get in to where I want to be. So for instance, if he's punching, all I have to do is step out to get to this side. It makes a lot of sense. It's very, very basic. But for most people, when they're starting the martial arts and someone punches, they just kind of stand here, right, instead of moving. So what we want to do, and a good way to practice this, is very simple. All he's going to do is throw a jab and then throw a cross, and I'm just going to move. So I go from one side, come back, go to the other. One side to the other. And just like that. Don't worry about what you're doing to get past the punch. Just zone out of the way of it. And use the female triangle. I can just slip if I want. Right? I can pick up my hand and do a cover. It doesn't really matter. But what I'm doing is the essential of moving with the female triangle pattern. Very basic, but as I said before, it leads to more advanced thinking.